We've been talking a lot about graphing linear inequalities on a two-dimensional graph lately. Today what we're going to talk about is writing the inequalities that would have created that graph. So what are the steps we're going to follow? First, we're going to identify the slope and the y-intercept of the line. Now the slope is always going to be rise over run. And the y-intercept is going to be wherever the line crosses the y-axis. Together, we're going to put those and we're going to make y equals mx plus b, slope-intercept form. Then we need to determine whether the shaded area is above or below the line that we are looking at. If the shaded area is above, we use a greater than symbol. And if the shaded area is below, we use a less than symbol. Finally, we need to determine whether the line is a solid line or a dotted line. If the line is solid, we use an equal to symbol. If the line is dotted, we do not use an equal to symbol. So, let's look at a couple examples. In problem number 1, first, let's figure out the slope and the y-intercept. I think the y-intercept is probably the easier part to figure out. We cross the y-axis at the -4. Now I'm going to look for another nice point. It just so happens the x-intercept is another nice point. So the rise would be 4. The run would be 2. That simplifies to 2. Now let's set it up as y equals mx plus b. Y, and now I'm going to leave a space, 2x minus 4. Now there's a reason I left a space here. We're not going to have an equal to sign anymore. We're going to either have a greater than or a less than. The shaded part of this graph is below the line. So since it is below, I'm going to make this a less than. And since it's a dotted line, I'm going to make this no equal to. Just leave it as a less than. Let's try another one. So, problem number 2. We need to find the m and we need to find the b. I think the b is the easier part here. It crosses nicely at the +1. Another nice point would be the x-intercept. So I would go down 1, right 3. So -1 over 3. Now I'm going to set it up y space -1/3 x plus 1. Now the reason I left a space here is that we're not going to have an equal to sign anymore. This time I notice the shaded part is above the line. So a greater than. I also notice it's a solid line. So this time I am going to put in an equal to symbol. And that's it. That's all we have to be able to do to construct these types of inequalities. Thank you guys so much for being good listeners and taking great notes, and I will see you tomorrow for some practice.